back to another episode of Halftimes and Harmonies. And it is NBA playoffs time, ladies and gentlemen. So everything is not set in stone just quite, but we do have a better picture of what it's going to look like now that the 7 seeds have been set. But so I'm just going to go through the East and then the West and see what happens. So first, starting with the East, the East is probably a little more easier to predict than the West, I think. There are some good teams in the East. I think the Celtics and the Bucks are definitely going to be ending up playing for an Eastern Conference title at the end of it. That's because that's just how it's probably all going to boil down to. But we might have some interesting series in the midst of that. So it's probably just going to be the Bucks and the Celtics going after it for the Eastern Conference title and the bid into the finals. So we'll see what happens. The Bucks, Celtics. I'm leaning towards the Celtics because I feel like they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder from last year's finals and not winning it all. So I think they're going to be gunning for redemption. The West, however. Okay, the West is going to be a little interesting because the West, I think there's a lot more happening in the West. There's not one team that really stands out to me, intriguingly, because all of them have definitely had their falters and their flaws, and no team is perfect. The Lakers might surprise people, truthfully. The Warriors, they're defending champs. The Kings, they're like surprisingly good because it's the Kings. But I don't know. The Kings might be on the up and up. The Nuggets, they always fold in the playoffs, so I don't see them making it very far. But I think the Suns are going to probably end up playing the Kings or Grizzlies, truthfully, for a Western Conference title. I think the Suns are super duper complete with KD. If KD stays healthy, then the Suns are probably going to go all the way. But if he doesn't, then I'm not sure where everything is going to lead us. But I think the biggest story was the Mavs absolutely falling apart in the last month or so and ultimately ended up not even making the play-in tournament. So, yeah. But overall, I think we're going to have a nice little interesting playoffs. I think the West is way more wide open than people realize, and the East is, it's a little more predictable because it's the East, and the East isn't what it used to be. But, of course, I'm rooting for the Knicks, obviously, and the Suns, of course. But, it's gonna be interesting playoffs. So I hope you all tune in to enjoy the playoffs as I will. So, but that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But as always, thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Halftimes and Harmonies. And with that, I say au revoir, ciao, adios, and goodbye.